Today we're going to be exploring decisions for Microsoft Teams and the preferred meeting lifecycle as it pertains to using the Decisions platform. So as you can see, we are in Microsoft Teams currently. Decisions is actually an application that lives within your Teams instance. So when you click on it, you're actually going to be greeted by the Decisions Meeting Hub. On the left side, you have your list of any meetings that are on your calendar. And on the right side, you have some suggestions of what you should be doing to those meetings themselves. In this scenario, I'm going to go ahead and play the role of a meeting organizer or meeting chair, and I'm going to use my Decisions demo meeting that I've scheduled, and I'll go ahead and create an agenda. From here, Decisions is going to prompt you to choose where you'd like to save that meeting information. And the way that we typically recommend figuring that out is by asking yourself what type of meeting this is going to be. Is it going to be more of a one-to-one or private meeting? If that's the case, we recommend you save the meeting information into your personal OneDrive. If it's more of a collaborative or team style meeting, then we recommend you save the meeting information into a corresponding Microsoft Teams team. So you can see I have a bunch of my high listed teams here. Project Group Q is just my demonstration group. I'm going to use that for this example. And then the next screen is going to prompt me to say, do you want to save that meeting information into a specific channel under Project Group Q? In this case, I'll go ahead and use my meetings channel. When I click next, we're going to be greeted with our dedicated agenda builder. So if you really wanted to, you could go through this agenda and build out an item by item agenda. You can throw in a time, title, description, you can attach files, you can add little keywords, you can even make people presenters. I'll dive into this functionality and these features a little bit more when I fast forward here, but just know that you can build an agenda from scratch every single time if you so choose. In the interest of time, what I'm going to do is actually show you what it's like to load up a template and start from there. It's a big time saver. It's also very helpful for those recurring meetings where you don't necessarily want to have to create agendas from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and select a template. You can see here I have a number of different templates that I can choose. I do have a demo meeting template that I've created for this example. You can always scroll through, and if you decide this is not something you want to use, you can always cancel back out. In this case, I like what I'm seeing, so I'm going to go ahead and click Save. This next screen that's going to pop up here is basically a preview of what the template is going to look like as a finished product. You will notice attendees have not been notified that there's even an agenda living on this meeting. Decisions does this intentionally because we still want the ball to be firmly in the organizer's court. So for me as the organizer, I can look through this and I can actually make changes to any agenda item that I want to. So if I click my little edit pencil here, I can designate maybe I want to talk for 12 minutes on agenda item number 1. That agenda item time is actually going to track along the left side in the form of a little blue bar. And once we reach 1 minute to go on a corresponding agenda item, the blue bar will actually turn from blue to red, letting you know there's 1 minute left. If it's more of a Teams or virtual meeting, you can actually have a proactive time tracker alert that will pop up and take over the screen saying you have 1 minute left if you want to go a little more aggressive that way. So that is your time tracker here. You'll notice we have -2 minutes because the time tracker is actually already down in agenda item number 2 based on the amount of time I've given. So realistically, if I wanted to, I can actually kind of fix that, and when I save it, it'll change the number there. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. Here is the title of the agenda item. There's also the body of the agenda, so you can actually add more info if you so choose. You can also use these little widgets across the top to add images, insert links, those types of things. This little drop down here allows you to either upload a file from your personal computer, or you can even add a link to the web or browse SharePoint and OneDrive. What's nice about this is that it will actually tag that attachment to the agenda item so that now everybody in the meeting will be able to access that specific item. This little hashtag here is similar to Instagram or Twitter. It's just a keyword tracker. So if you put in a keyword, it will actually allow you to click that little blue hyperlink there, and it'll track anytime you reference that keyword across any of your meetings. This little drop down here is our context tool. So if I'm the organizer and I want to give a little more context around the agenda item itself, I can click that drop down and say, hey team, this is actually going to be an item I want to make a decision on. Maybe it's an item I just want to have a discussion about, or maybe it's more of just an informational item for the team. The context tool really does a nice job of giving people that are attending the meeting a little more context around the agenda item itself. The final and maybe biggest feature that lives on the agenda item is the presenter feature. So if I click on my little box there, you will now see a list of everybody that was invited to the meeting. What's nice about this is that I can assign people as presenters if I so choose. So now John and Jane, when I save this, they are going to be notified that they're presenting agenda item number 1, and they now have the ability to go and make edits or changes to agenda item number 1 as they see fit. This is very beneficial for organizers who don't want to have to come up with every single agenda item. You can create an agenda item and then just assign people as presenters, and then it's the presenter's responsibility for bringing the information to that agenda item. As an aside, here is our little time tracker chugging along the left side. You will see we have 16 minutes designated. That is going to turn red once we have 1 minute left. And that kicks off at the exact time that the meeting is set to start. So, as it stands now, we are still firmly in our pre-meeting phases. Maybe I'm the organizer and I've done what I wanted to do to the agenda, but now I want to notify the rest of the attendees so they can be better prepared. Decisions will let you do that through our notification panel. So from here I can say, hey, I'm going to notify via email and or via Teams. I'm not going to do email in this case just because visually I can show you what it looks like in Teams, and we're a Teams shop, so we'd prefer to keep everything located there. So if I choose to notify everybody in Teams, I can scroll down. I can even include the agenda summary. I can even include a button to allow people in the meeting to suggest additional topics. So I can say suggestions welcome for the meeting. And when I click notify, it will throw out a notification into Microsoft Teams, specifically for this case, into Project Group Q in my meetings channel. Here is the notification that just came through. So now anybody that wants to can either view the agenda or suggest additional items towards the upcoming meeting. So let's jump back into the agenda itself, and let's say that we are ready to run the meeting. We've put to bed the pre-meeting phase, and now we're ready to actually kick off the meeting itself. The time tracker automatically kicks off at the very beginning of the scheduled invitation for the meeting itself, which is why our time tracker is all the way down here currently. And what I like to talk about on the meeting and running the meeting itself, there's really 3 big things that you can do. 1, you can take notes. Those can be in the form of public or private meeting notes. 2, you can record decisions. That's typically when you have something that's been a roundtable discussion and we want to create a ledger of big decisions that were made from the meeting. And 3, the ability to track action items. So I'm going to start by showing you how you can take notes. There's a lot of flexibility here, so I'll give you some of the high-level functions that you can use. If you want to take public notes, there's really 2 different ways you can do that. 1, at the very beginning of the meeting, you can click our minutes button here, and you can either open Word or OneNote, and from there you can start taking notes directly into either of those applications. That's totally fine if you want to go that route. The other option is to remain on the agenda itself and click our little edit pencil here. You'll notice I can actually, during the meeting, add more notes for the team into the agenda itself. And by doing so, when I click save, everybody that's on this screen and looking at the agenda will actually see that update come through. So that's a great way to take notes for public consumption from the agenda itself. The other type of notes that you have are private notes. So for anybody that is attending the meeting that's within the team, in this case, Project Group Q, they can actually click on My Notes. And when we do that, it will open up a private OneNote notebook for anybody that clicks on it. So if you have 10 people attending the meeting, all 10 people can click My Notes. It will actually open up private OneNote notebooks specific to whoever clicked on it. The secret benefit to this for the organizer is if I'm the organizer and I click My Notes, I will actually have the option to make those notes public when I formally recap the entire meeting. That's something I'll show you here in a second. But hopefully that makes sense. That's how you can take public and private notes. Shifting gears, we'll go ahead and talk about the ability to record decisions. So let's say that we're working our way through the agenda itself and we see on agenda item number 5 that there is a decision that we would like to make. So let's say that we have a nice roundtable discussion and we have made a decision. The organizer will go in, click the little 3 dots, and record the decision. So you can click New Decision. We can put in the title that the decision maybe was centralized around deciding on adding funds. And the actual description could be, had a nice chat and will add, let's say, 10K to the budget. We go ahead and finalize it and save it. And what this is doing, it's not only going to tag that decision to the corresponding agenda item, but it's also going to drop it into our little decisions list archive. So if I click the word list here, you will now see not only the decision we made from this meeting, the meeting date, the meeting itself, and then also the corresponding agenda item. You'll also see any other decisions that were made within this team. This little blue box tracks along with Project Group Q, so you can see any decisions that were made across any meetings. Similarly, we can shift over and assign tasks. Decisions integrates really well with Microsoft Planner and Excel if you so choose, but just so you know, you can assign tasks directly from this agenda item or any other agenda item. So if we're working our way through the agenda, and we want to assign a task, I can say, yeah, let's go ahead and click plus task and we can assign, we'll just say new task. We can give it a due date, assign it to a specific person or multiple people within the team. And then you'll notice there's this little hyperlink here. Decisions offers to create a vertical column or bucket in the corresponding Microsoft Planner plan for the team. So if you want, you can drop all your tasks from the meeting directly into the meeting bucket. If you want us to be a little more flexible, you can actually drop these into any buckets that you have at your disposal. So it does not have to be the meeting bucket. You can actually create other buckets behind the scenes if you'd prefer. In this case, I'll just drop it into our meeting bucket, click add, and what that's going to do is actually going to assign the task to those 2 gentlemen. You will now see we have a number of tasks that are overdue or pending in this case. You can manage those from Planner. You can also click Excel and export those as a static export into Excel. So that right there is running the meeting. You can take public and private notes. You can record decisions. You can also record tasks. The final piece of the puzzle is going to be exporting everything into a nice formal recap. So if you had taken notes directly onto the agenda and maybe taken notes behind the scenes using My Notes, you can actually use the minutes button here as a formal recap. So I'm going to choose to export everything into Microsoft Word. We do offer to create a standardized cadence for your naming conventions for the meetings themselves, but you can also change the file name if you so choose. And when I click save, this is actually going to pull open Microsoft Word because that was the app that we chose. And what's going to happen is it's actually going to pop out our Decisions Meeting Document Manager. This is going to do all the legwork for us. So you can see there's a bunch of different options that I can choose. I can choose to include the agenda item description on this final recap. If I had been taking notes using My Notes, I can actually include those, and this is where you can make those private notes public. You can also export your decisions and tasks. You can even mark if anybody was absent from the meeting, and then you can click merge. All this is doing is basically buttoning everything up, throwing it over to here. You can even include your logo as a nice little watermark there. And if I scroll down, you'll see here are those public notes in the body of the agenda. If I scroll down a little further, there's the task that was assigned. A little bit further down from there, there is the decision that was made. This is a working Word document. You'll notice the autosave feature is on because this is saved into the meeting folder, which is automatically created behind the scenes and saved into the Teams SharePoint site. So you don't have to do any creation or manual saving. Decisions does it all for you. But what's nice about this is that it is a working Word document. So you can assign tasks directly from here. You can record decisions directly from here. You can even send this document out for review if you really wanted to. Most of what we see is people just look at it, take a quick glance and say, yeah, that looks good. And then they actually finalize it as a PDF. So from here, this is going to convert my Word doc into a PDF. It'll convert it here, allow me to view it, and then I can even send it out to the rest of the team saying recap complete. Let's see, recap complete. And when I click send, it will actually send an email to everybody that was in this little list here. The final piece here, everything is automatically saved to the agenda itself as well. So if I click open, it will open up our agenda with the PDF version there. And then if you really wanted to, at any point, you can actually go into the Decisions Hub and you can access the meeting information and recap that way as well. So that's it. That's the life cycle of a meeting with Decisions. Enjoy.